A lot of you are waiting for our next guest, and you will hear him, David Foley, the co-founder and chief technologist for NanoTech Entertainment. They want to make their mark in smart TV and Ultra HD, and we will hear David live from San Jose, California, plus a tribute to both Gary David Goldberg and the late Twilight Zone writer Richard Matheson. That is all coming up after we pause at the top of the hour for web identification. This is Internet Radio at its very, very best, the place to discover what the world has to say. www.blogtalkradio.com. More than 40 million listens around the world every month and growing. If you want some fun on your Monday afternoon, check out Rodney Perry Live, Mondays, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, exclusively on Blog Talk Radio. And remember, that's the BTR 24/7 at youtube.com. Welcome back to Will Be Televised. Welcome you just joining us at the top of the hour for the show that covers the world of television. Simon Applebaum back with you, live from New York. 87 humid degrees here in New York at the top of the hour. Happy you're aboard. We have a great guest coming away in the next half hour and change. We invite you to be part of the program. So just give us a call. Ring in at 1-646-652-2906. That's 1-646-652-2906. That number is good anywhere you're catching us across the country or globe-wide here on BTR. And our full chat room continues to get fuller by the minute. It's Simon Apple 04 by name. We welcome, a lot of people in the room. Our good friend Rick Webb from Philadelphia. We have Penny Stalkers, in the room. And we have other Steve Olson, I believe, or Steve Dixon, and a lot more folks, too. So jump on in. The water is fine. And remember, whether you use the phone or the chat room, we appreciate what you have to say. Remember, you can also connect it right now to others by using Facebook Timeline. Click the banner on the Blog Talk Radio screen, follow the instructions, and other people can hear the show with you right now. There's a new company around called NanoTech Entertainment that wants to make it smart in two worlds at the same time: smart TV channels and applications and Ultra HD programming. Joining us live from San Jose, California, the co-founder and chief technologist there, David Foley. David, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Simon.
How long has NanoTech been around, and why the ambitions for both smart TV and Ultra HD?
Well, we've been around for quite a few years, and we've been in a development phase for several of those. We're just now coming to market with a lot of the technology that we've been developing.
You and your company are placing a big bet that smart TVs, or smart TV, I should say, channels and applications, channels distributed through smart TVs, among other mediums, will be the way to go. Why do you believe that way?
Well, if you look at how television's been viewed in the past, there's been a few paradigm shifts in recent history, and we think we're on the verge of the next one. 14 years ago, when the TiVo came out, it really changed how people watch television. You stopped having to run home to be at a certain time to watch your show and catch it, or try and set a VCR. And then the viewing habits became that you would go in, you'd set your TiVo up, you'd record it whenever, you'd grab 4 or 5 episodes, and you watch them when you want to, and you'd skip through the commercials. And about 3 years ago, when we got our Roku device, we realized that we're on the precipice of another paradigm shift, and that is moving from the record it and watch it once you've got it to any content, anytime, on any device, whenever you want it. And we really feel like that's the next wave of how television is going to be viewed. And so we put a lot of effort and a lot of technology behind coming up with an infrastructure to support that.
Now, Jeffrey Foley is the other co-founder. Is he your brother? Is he your father? What's the relationship?
Jeff's the CEO, and he's my brother.
And in the last couple of months, you made a number of announcements about various services that you want to distribute through smart TVs. A Clubian or electronic music channel, a storytime channel adapting children's stories on the television set, one that I found really fascinating, NanoBooks, with the idea of putting ebook material on the TV, and just a little earlier this week, a project called Fun Little Movies. Of these projects, what is currently up now, and where can people find it?
Those are all channels that we just announced, and they're going through the QA phase. Typically, once we've got content ready, it takes between 3 to 6 weeks to get the channels approved on the various platforms that we're going out on. So in the next month, you'll see those channels starting to come alive. We have a lot of those done already, and we're in the QA process. We also have announced recently we did a deal with Hanover House, bringing in their entire video library and taking it from the DVD model into the video on demand model. We also have other channels that are out and have been out for a while. We have the Big App Show with Adam Curry that's been out for a year now, and that's a show where we feature reviews of phone apps for either Android or iPhone. And one of the things that's unique about our system is that we have interactivity built into our technology so that you can watch the episode. While you're watching the episode, we have a QR code up on the screen that lets you download the app if you want. At the end of the episode, the TV will ask you, do you want this app? And if you say yes, it'll be emailed to your phone automatically. And so we're adding enhancements like that, which really make the video on demand system more interactive.
Which smart TV set makers now are carrying your services, and are these services free to the user, or is there a premium charge like HBO?
Well, it really depends on the channel. So right now we have 22 different channels, and each channel can be configured in a variety of ways. We have some channels that are free and they're supported by ad. We have some channels that are free and supported by a sponsor. We have channels that are your choice. You can pick up the content for free by watching the ads, or you can get a premium account, pay for a monthly subscription, and you'll get the same content without the ads.
What about chat room users? Go ahead, David.
I was going to say, as far as platforms are concerned, right now we're working on Roku, Samsung Smart TV, LG Smart TV, iPhone, Androids, tablets, and then PC and Mac. We're also coming out with some more set-top boxes. We're going to be coming out with Apple TV versions of our channels, as well as we're coming out later this year with our own set-top box.
Any plans for a relationship with Google TV, or maybe the proposed ventures with Intel and Amazon?
Well, with Intel and Amazon, it's really not defined what they're going to do. We're very platform agnostic. We don't care. We'll put our technology on anything that can run it. With Google TV, we're kind of waiting for which Google TV platform is going to shake out.
We got a couple questions in our chat room. Somebody in our room believes that you're going to be coming out with a Roku on steroids, as this person's defined it, called Nuvola, Nuvola. Is that the case? And is it going to be available in stores like Walmart, Best Buy, Radio Shack, et cetera, et cetera?
So we are, one of the things, and we'll get into the Ultra HD 4K movement in a moment, but earlier this year we've had success in being able to stream Ultra HD content over typical house lines. And right now we're looking at next year before any of the big players like Roku come out with their 4K set-top box, and we don't want to wait. And so we've taken the initiative, and we're actually putting out our own set-top box that will be capable of streaming 4K over Wi-Fi in your house. We haven't announced where the boxes will be available yet. We are going to be taking orders for them next month and announcing what retail outlets are going to carry them. We have been working with a bunch of different people in the retail sector to get as much exposure as we can. As you can imagine, with a no-name box that has not been in the stores before, we have a lot of due diligence that we have to go through, and we have to do a lot of dog and pony shows. But we've been in that process, and we're working with several different people to get it approved at as many retail outlets as we can.
Before we go to a call, Bodash Radio in our chat room thinks your idea of being platform agnostic, where you don't just pick one smart TV maker or one over-the-top, as some people call it, or alternative TV provider, you try to go for everybody, is very, very good. All right, let's see if we can finally get a call. I believe we have someone on the line. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where you're calling from? Hello, you're on the air. Guess not. Let's try one more. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where you're calling from? Nope, don't have it. Well, David Foley, he is the co-originator and the chief technologist for NanoTech Entertainment, involved in both smart TV and Ultra HD programming, content, and applications. He's joining us live from San Jose, California, this half hour on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. I'm in Applebaum out on the other coast, New York. Happy you're with us on this Friday afternoon on Blog Talk Radio. And if you have a question or comment, give us a call. The number is 1-646-652-2906, or use our chat room Simon Apple 04 by name. A lot of people in the room we really appreciate. By the way, thank you to PR Newswire for promoting today's episode. In fact, they put their press release, they made with NanoTech's help a press release on our show, and they posted it live for everyone to see in Times Square on their billboard. So thank you, PR Newswire, for that. Ultra HK, or Ultra HD 4K, was a big discussion here in New York the last week or so at CE Week for the Consumer Electronics Association, and I'm sure in Silicon Valley at the TV Tomorrow show their good friend Tracy Swedlow does. Why are you a believer in Ultra HD, and particularly how fast the public is going to embrace it? There seems to be a discrepancy about how fast we, the public, are going to adopt this technology, especially after the experience with 3D.
Well, I can tell you that why Ultra HD is, as soon as you put your eyes on it, that answer goes away very quickly. The clarity is pretty stunning. One of the things that surprised us is as we were developing, we would be spending part of our time on one of our standard channels running on a HD TV, running at 1080p resolution, and then we'd go work on the 4K channel for a little bit, and then we'd come back to the HD TV and go, that looks horrible. You can see the pixels, you can see the edges, you can see the aliasing. And, 2-3 years ago, if you said to somebody an HD image looks horrible, they just laughed you out of the room. But now there's such a visual difference that it's going to really take over. I think it's going to be just like when HD hit the market, 4K is going to be that same kind of progression. As far as adaptation speed, there's a couple barriers. One is price, and you've got people like Sony and the big players right around $5,000, which is what they typically like to do when they launch a new piece of technology. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to recoup some of their R&D investment. It costs a lot of money to create these new panels, and they're trying to get some of that back. And with any television, it will whittle down fairly quickly within a year down to commodity prices where everyone's just making a small margin on the product. But one of the things that we've done is we're partnering with a panel manufacturer that's going to be offering super low-cost 4K right from the outset. In fact, if you can go on Amazon now, and for under $1,500, you can get a 50-inch Ultra HD television. And this summer, you're going to be able to buy, for less than $700, a 39-inch Ultra HD television. So the barrier to entry is going to be much less, especially at this Christmas buying season.
Also, David, there's a company called Seiki that exhibited here at CE Week. They're from Asia, and they were showcasing a Ultra HD set for about $1,500. We should point out, while it's not a smart TV set in terms of having the capacity in, it does have the capability of plug-in smart applications, so that if you have, let's say, your smart TV applications on a disc or a plug-in device, it could be plugged into the set, and that way it become a smart TV set instantly. One of the things we're curious about is the Seiki folks that you talk about, while the Seiki name is new, they're actually owned by Tongfeng Global, who's one of the biggest panel manufacturers in China and has been in the business for a long time. So they're just now coming out with their own retail brand. But as far as televisions are concerned, that company's been doing a lot of volume for a lot of years. Yeah. I want to ask you about the storybook and the ebook projects you're doing. But first, let's see if we can get a call in. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the air. Okay. By the way, if you are using our phone line, 1-646-652-2906, once you get on, you must use the number 1 to be in the queue to get on the air. And I do believe we now have a call, so let's take it. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is John from Chicago.
John, you're on the line with David Foley of NanoTech. We're happy you're aboard.
Hi, David. Pleasure to meet you. I'm a big fan of everything you guys are doing. It's my understanding you're just returning from San Francisco from a Television of Tomorrow show. Can you give us a hint of...
San Francisco, sure.
I was just saying, can you give us a hint of maybe what transpired and maybe some of the contacts you sat down with?
Well, there was a lot of different discussion groups, and really you've got a bunch of people that are trying to figure out where the market is going and discussing the over-the-top IPTV kind of delivery systems, There was a lot of discussion about second screen implementation. How are you going to involve the second screen, i.e. your tablet or your telephone, because that's really where people think it's going, and we believe that as well. We believe that more than just using a smartphone as a remote, you're going to use it as a device that gives you a simultaneous stream of information that's related to whatever you're watching on the TV. And there was a lot of discussion about where people are going with production. You're seeing a lot of decentralization of production now, because you can go out and you can buy a digital camera and you can buy a professional studio setup for much less than you used to. You've got a lot more independent content being created, and that combined with a lot more outlets such as the IPTV channels and YouTubes of the world becoming more and more used, you've got a decentralization of content creation as well, and those are the main topics at the conference.
And one thing I want to add, by the way, is that something else that was at Tracy's event was a hackathon, which was focused on smart TV, interactive TV applications. Google TV did a similar thing over a year ago. They haven't done one since. They did one in Silicon Valley, one in London simultaneously, which we covered on our show at the time. They have not done one since. I want to give Tracy a lot of kudos for doing that, and I would love to see more people do TV hackathons here in New York, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, all over the country. I want to thank our caller, by the way, for being on the line. And I know we have a lot of people on the air who want to get on the air, so we're going to extend our segment past 4:30 Eastern Time, 1:30 on the West Coast, by another 5 or 10 minutes, that people who want to get on board on the phone with David certainly can. David, tell us about this e-book application and also this storybook application. These are two separate services. What would they look like on the screen?
Well, so if you think about e-books and how people read them at the time, right now you've got the Kindle, which was a hugely successful product, which used the e-ink technology and was very easy on your eyes because you didn't get that high strain of the backlight right in your face. And one of the things we looked at is if you look at your e-book audience, you're with your little readers and whatnot, you're really focusing on the tech-savvy crowd, people that really get the next generation of hardware, but there's a large audience of people that would like e-books that aren't necessarily tech-savvy but have a big television in their house. And so what we looked at is, well, why don't we take the e-book experience and bring that to your big screen television? And so we're in the midst of releasing our first channel, which is going to take e-books and put them on your TV, and you're going to have the same kind of features that you have in a Kindle, where you can do it white on black, black on white, sepia tone. You can change the font size. You can bookmark chapters, and you'll be able to do that all on a TV. And what we found is that being able to have an e-book on your 50-inch television is a very handy thing for, let's say, your parents. I know that my parents are very interested in having e-books on their TV as opposed to trying to put on their reading glasses and see it on a little 9-inch screen. As far as the go ahead.
I'm just wondering, are the storybook content or the e-book content, is that being created specifically for you and for this channel, or are you getting it from other sources?
No, the e-book channel is actually going to be regular e-books just brought to television. It's just basically another viewing platform that has not been available until now. As far as the children's storybooks, the NanoTales, that actually came out of my daily routine of story time with my son, and what I found was that he really loves the classic stories, the Brothers Grimm, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Puss in Boots, his favorite. And one of the things that's happened with children's programming for the most part lately is that it's very low attention, high change rate, high visual effect, big in your face, just action, action, action. And we're trying to approach it from another angle, which is let's take the classic stories that everybody remembers that should be passed on generation to generation, and let's present it in a very low flash scenario where you're not doing fast rate changes and big explosions on screen, where the focus is really on the story and not on the action on screen. And so what we're doing is we're taking the classic stories with the classic still imagery and then presenting it much like a Ken Burns documentary where you've got the still imagery, but you have pans and zooms and possibly a little bit of motion, but it's not a high-impact motion. It's something where the focus can be on the story being told rather than the imagery.
Let's take another call, and here's someone. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the air. All right, let's try another call, see if this comes through. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right. Again, if you're calling us, make sure that after you get the Blog Talk Radio prompt that you use the number 1. Make that the prompt so that you can get on the air, and we know that you're ready to go on the air. And again, we are going to extend our segment with David at the bottom of the hour. Are any of the applications that you are looking to get on smart TVs, are they interactive so that the audience can play along, the audience can use their remote control, or if they have the ability with their set to use their voice, a la Siri, to interact?
Yeah, we're actually we have a couple of classic games that we're bringing to the TV that allow you to interact with the remote, and what we're looking at as far as interactivity really depends on the content provider. So we're working right now with a company where, depending on what video segment you watch, you're going to be able to get a different action based on that. So some of the videos might bring up the option to sign up for a service, or to order something online, or to get more information on your smartphone while you're watching this segment. So let's say you're watching a Warren Miller film about skiing, and you have your phone linked to your TV. You can get details on the skier on screen, the slope, the size of the mountain they were on, how much snow they have per year, or buy tickets to go travel there on vacation. Interactivity like that really can be centralized by a piece of content, not necessarily just by the whole channel.
Let's try for another call. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the air. Okay, that is not coming through. We apologize for that. One of our chat room folks wondered if you're doing anything in the sports vein, and also given more of an interest in terms of programming aimed at people of color, African Americans, Latinos, Asian Americans, etc. Is there anything in that vein, anything of a diverse nature?
There is. So we've actually we've done a partnership with Kipasa TV, and we have that channel that we're just waiting on some content from some of the publishers, but it's a Latino-based channel that's all Latino community specific. We're also working on a Latino community channel here in the San Francisco Bay Area, where we're getting access, sort of like public TV access, to our studios at NanoTech to have several shows produced that'll be then available online on all of our different platforms. With respect to sports, we actually are doing a lot of work in the sports area. We just did our first MMA event last weekend with MMA Day, and it was hosted by Gilbert Melendez from the UFC, and we're going to start producing more of those types of events and also doing some live streaming events. Earlier this year, we did a live stream from Lake Tahoe with the North Face Park and Pipe Open Series, and we're going to be doing more events with them as well. So quite a bit of work in both those areas.
Let's try again for another call. Let's see if we come through here. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right. Let's try this line. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, well, I apologize again for whatever glitch is preventing some of our callers from getting through. If you can't get through on the phone, use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. Again, we're going to keep David on for another 5 or 10 minutes or so, as long as you keep the questions going, whether by phone or chat room, we will keep him aboard. Remember, coming up Monday, we'll be with you at a special time, 1 hour later than normal, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Joining us will be the folks behind the new NBC reality drama Siberia premieres that night. We'll have creator Matthew Arnold, and we'll have executive producers Chris Phillip and Michael Obernin. Also, coming up on Friday in our regular time period, the co-creator and executive producer of one of the most popular comedy games around, Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's coming back next month on the CW. Aisha Tyler will be the host, and we'll have Dan Patterson, the co-creator, live from England. Also, the co-creators and executive producers of the new Reels channel's procedural drama King. It premieres next Friday night. I believe it's 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific time. Bernard Zuckerman and Greg Spottiswoode will join us. It's a great post 4th of July treat for you right here on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. Somebody wants to confirm, you were talking about the Nuvola player earlier, that it may be released as early as mid-next month?
Yeah, we're going to be taking orders for it mid-next month. And we plan to sell, right now our forecast is for 100,000 units this year.
All right, now I believe we do have a call. Let us take it. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Wesley from Manalapan.
Wesley, great to have you. You're on the line with David Foley. Go ahead.
Well, I see you just mentioned the release date. Coming out of the shareholder meeting, is there any other news, retirement of the stock shares, or anything about release or partnerships with other things other than MMA, sports networks, et cetera, that you're looking into?
Well, we're working on several different content partners. We're going to be announcing a new partner that we just signed next week that will bring another 1,000 titles to our video-on-demand library. As far as shareholder news, that'll come out as it happens.
Okay. Well, great tech, great news, and best of luck. Looking forward to the 100,000 units being sold.
Thank you.
And thanks for getting on the line with a question. I really appreciate it. All right. That question coming from the New York area. Keep the phones going. 1-646-652-2906. Again, when you call in, please, when you get prompted, use the 1 in order that we can know that you are on the air. And, of course, our chat room is still open. Simon Apple 04 by name. We really appreciate all of you being in the room. And for those of you that are listening to us for the first time, we are the program that covers the world of television. We're here usually Mondays and Fridays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, here on Blog Talk Radio. Make us a regular habit if you can. And if not, go to our homepage, check up on our episodes. You can get replays that way at www.blogtalkradio.com/televised. That's www.blogtalkradio.com/televised. And you can also check us out on podcast. You're downloadable to the smartphone or tablet through iTunes.com. Remember, you can also find me on Facebook and my Twitter hashtag @UBCSimon, TWBT. That's @UBCSimon, TWBT. Remember, like you say on 2020, we are in touch, so you be in touch because we really appreciate what you have to say. What you say is quite valuable to us and to our listeners. What is the most unique content proposal that has been pitched your way, David?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, we've had probably the one that we don't entertain, but it has been very interesting is a lot of these interactive porn guys are looking to do customized channels, and being that we're a public company, we really can't get involved with them. But some of what they show as far as what they want is pretty out there.
And what about the production community here in New York, in Hollywood, around the country? What has been their reaction to what you're doing? Do they have skepticism? Are they excited? Is it a mix of both? What's their general feeling about what you're up to?
Well, it's very interesting because what you have is you have some people who are putting a lot of effort, like Sony's putting a lot of effort into Ultra HD, and you have a lot of people who know it's coming but aren't going to invest in it now and kind of waiting to see, when the right time to jump in is. And because of that, one of the things that we've recently done is we've put a heavy investment into building our own 4K studio and 4K production company. And we're actually have 3 shows in pre-production right now that are going to be native 4K shows. And we've also invested into a lot of equipment that we're going to be going to the Hollywood people and doing deals with where we'll be able to take their film, scan it into 4K, give them back the 4K master, and also get some ability to put that over our 4K delivery network.
How are you being funded? Is venture capital involved? Is equity? How are you being funded? How are you getting the investment?
Well, we originally had done the friends and family, and then we had done some not-so-friendly investments as well, but we're pretty much through all of that now, and we're now getting to the point where we're close to breaking even, and we're just using banks and credit facilities in order to keep moving forward. And in the near future, we'll be generating a profit, and we won't have to be burning cash anymore.
Something that I know was also discussed at the TV Tomorrow show was crowdfunding. And more we're hearing talk that new television networks, new television programming, smart TV apps, et cetera, are now looking to Kickstarter and Indiegogo and down the road the whole equity crowdfunding scene, which still has to be approved by the Securities Exchange Commission, even though it was passed over a year ago under President Obama's Jobs Act, to that to happen. Is anyone coming to you with Kickstarter projects or looking for crowdfunding support for what they're doing?
Yes, and we've gotten the approval to, you can do crowdfunding for a project or a product. You can't do it to just raise general investment funds. And we've actually gotten 2 projects approved by our SEC attorneys that we're going to be coming out with very soon on Kickstarter. And I think you're going to see a lot more things. I know that comedian Bert Kreischer just Kickstarted his documentary film. If you look at the guys that did 3 Sheets, they're got a new show that they're getting kickstarted. And so I think you're going to see more and more of the independent guys go that route, because then they're not beholden to whoever paid for the production of their show. They can go out, they can get 13 episodes in the can, and then shop it around. I think, that's one of the big shifts you've seen. If you look at people like Louis C.K. who take it into their own control, you get the double benefit of the producer has the ultimate control of where they can shop around their product because they're not beholden to whoever funded it. And you also, the benefit to the viewers is that you get a much more realistic price for your content. Louis C.K. put out his comedy special at $5, and he sold a lot of them. And it really proves that you don't have to put stuff out and worry about the piracy. If you make it affordable, the buy decision is easy for people to make. And I really think that that's one of the shifts that you're going to see in the near future, is that the model of your basic package with 50, 60 channels, and then you add on, a premium package or a sports package. I think that's all going to go away. I really believe that in the future you're going to see everything be completely a la carte. You're going to choose a Netflix, or you're going to choose an HBO, or you're going to choose, this or that provider, and you're going to pick up the little pieces that you like as opposed to buying these big combined packages.
Quick pause for web identification. We'll try to get some more questions in for the next 10 minutes or so with Dave Foley, and then I'll have some final thoughts on 2 great people who passed away in the last few days: Family Ties creator Gary David Goldberg and the brilliant Twilight Zone TV and movie scriptwriter Richard Matheson. That's all coming up after we pause at the bottom of the hour for web identification. This is www.blogtalkradio.com, the place to discover what the world has to say. Welcome back again in Will Be Televised. A few more minutes to go with our good friend David Foley. He is the co-founder and the chief technologist of NanoTech Entertainment, working on both smart TV and on Ultra HD or 4K projects. You have a question or comment, give us a call, 1-646-652-2906, or use our chat room, Simon Apple 04 by name. And somebody in our chat room just asked, what do you see your company by year end? How big of a vision do you think you will realize by the end of the year in terms of the number of services you'll offer, how much smart TV, how much 4K?
Well, I think we'll have at least 5 4K channels up and streaming by end of year. We'll be at over 30 of our smart TV applications up and running and on the various platforms. And, I think we're going to see 4K really come to life this Christmas. We're putting a lot of investment into retail distribution, and we think this Christmas is going to be an amazing season for 4K. And, one of the things that we know is that if you look at when HD came out, there was a land grab for viewers. If you've gone out at Christmas time and you've bought a 4K television, you want content for it, and you're going to be dying to show it off. And so having as much content as we can generate and partner with for the early adopters is going to be very crucial for us, because you're going to have the ability to put that in a huge percentage of the 4K sets. And, one of the things that's very interesting is that if you look at what your options are for 4K, Sony's got their player, but their player only works with Sony televisions, and it really only does a download service. So you pick a show, you download it, you pay for a movie, you download it, and then you play it on your 4K set. If you look at the Red Ray player, that's really just it's meant to be a device for movie producers and professionals that want to view some of the films they've shot. It doesn't really have a streaming service or a download service or any kind of app structure built into it. And what we've done with the Nuvola is that we've created a true set-top box, and we've based it on the Android operating system. So we're going to ship it with Hulu and Netflix and a bunch of different video apps. We're going to ship it with some 3D games, and it's going to have our 4K streaming channels on it as well, and you're going to be able to add things as you like. So it's really much more of an end-user experience as opposed to a very finite experience.
One of the C-Week guests was a game developer who says he is going to create games for television where you can use your smartphone and your tablet as the controller, as the joystick, if you will. And he would love to see both the iPod, iPhone, iPad developer community from Apple, et cetera, and that ecosystem, and the Android ecosystem of developers all getting involved. He thinks there's going to be a huge smart TV application market. Do you see things the same way?
Absolutely. And in fact, we're putting some very powerful 3D graphics processors into our device, and I think you're going to see a lot of the next generation set-top boxes are going to be able to do very strong 3D, which makes them a very good gaming platform. And being able to use the devices you already have in your house is very essential to that experience.
Is there anything you see that could derail this 4K movement? And as Go Big Ten is marking in our chat room, are the broadcast, the cable networks, the top production companies, are they willing to spend money now to upgrade their production process to 4K? Is there anything you see that could derail this marketplace?
I don't think you can see it derail like 3D did. And what's interesting about 3D is 3D had a big splash, but it didn't have any longevity. And the problem is that 3D requires wearing glasses, and it still gives you a headache. Unless you spend a lot of effort on your 3D production, you're not able to trick your brain. Your brain has a concept of stereo vision and where things should be relative to your depth of seeing them. And when most 3D is done, they just do a very quick trick in order to force perspective so that something's sticking out of the screen. But your brain inherently knows that something's wrong, and that's what causes the eye strain and the headaches. And there's very few films that have taken the time to do it right. And one of those is the James Cameron film, where they spent an enormous amount of time really working hard to get the 3D proper, as opposed to the trickery that you see in most animated films where a big bat comes out of the screen to hit you in the head or something. With 4K, there's none of that barrier. It's just visually much more stunning, and really the only thing is how fast is it going to be adopted. And there's a couple of things for that. One is that we're working on a new product that you'll be able to put in line with your Blu-ray disc player or your Xbox or whatever, that will scale your HD signal up to 4K at a much better visual presentation than you get by just putting it on the 4K TV. We think that'll help significantly bring in early adopters, because for a very small investment in hardware, you'll get a much better visual cue out of your standard display hardware, your Blu-ray players or whatever. Also, you've got a lot of people that are now switching over and actually filming in 4K already. And if you look at places like ESPN has already announced that they've dropped the ESPN 3D channel in favor of the ESPN 4K channel. In Europe, a lot of the sports are being filmed in 4K right now. And so it really is just a matter of investment in new cameras and new production equipment. But the good thing is that those cameras are much more affordable than the switch was from standard def to HD. If you look at, you've got the Red Ray cameras have been out for a while, and there's actually been a lot of movies shot on Red Ray. You've also got Blackmagic, who next month is going to be shipping a 4K camera body for under $5,000, which makes it very affordable.
Let's try to get one more call in before we wrap. Hello, you're on Tomorrow Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, you're on the air. All right, let's try one more time. Hello, you're on Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from? Okay, we're having static on that line. And again, we appreciate all the people calling in. And if you're trying to get through and for some reason we had a glitch, we do apologize. Before we let you go, David, what keeps you and your chief executive, Jeffrey Foley, what keeps you inspired to do this? What about this marketplace, both with smart TV content and apps and 4K or Ultra HD, that keeps you getting out of bed and making work happen?
Well, first of all, it's very exciting to build new technology, and my whole career has been coming up with new technology in whatever market I've been working in. And I really got frustrated with my TV experience and saw this kind of new method becoming available for the marketplace, and so I really feel like this wave of what we're working on is really where people want to experience television. And it's been interesting because, you know, early on when we first developed our first version of NanoFlix, I gave it out to a few of my friends, and they started using it, and they were my guinea pigs, and they were giving me feedback, and everyone that played with it is like, this is so much better than how I do television now. And so that excitement just keeps coming back in that feed loop that keeps coming back to us and says, hey, this is really the right decision, and we have so many ideas that we want to get out to market that, you know, we're working 6 and 7 days a week trying to get this all done.
We have another call. I think we'll be able this time to get it in. This will be our last one. Hello, you're on Will Be Televised. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
This is Quay calling from New York.
Great to have you. You're on the line with David Foley. Go right ahead.
Okay, you guys are marketing nationwide. I mean, in the United States, is there any plans to market in Europe, China, etc.?
Yes, we actually will be marketing worldwide. We have distribution partners in Europe and in Asia already, and we'll be working with them to bring out the products that we have worldwide. And then most of our channels are already available on a lot of platforms in Europe and just now starting in Asia.
Okay, that's good. Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. We really appreciate it. If you want to know more about NanoTech Entertainment and what they're up to, both with smart TV channels and applications and the interesting world of Ultra HD or 4K, here's where you go online, www.nanotechent.com. That's www.nanotechent.com. David Foley, the co-founder and chief technology person at NanoTech Entertainment, thank you again for joining us in what has been an exciting and crazy first half of the year in television. This last 30 minutes and change has been a very apt sort of prelude to where we may be headed the second half of this year and beyond in the world of TV. We really appreciate you being aboard. Congratulations on what you've accomplished so far, and hopefully all the best the second half of this year and beyond.
All right. Thank you very much, and thanks to all the listeners for all the great questions.
You're very welcome. Thanks to them, too. Take care.
All right.
David Foley of NanoTech Entertainment joining us live from San Jose, California.